caffeine alpha, but soon
Okay, folks, and we are live. I am just kind of going through to make sure that all the audio and stuff like that is coming through. I'll open up the lines here in just a second. Bear with me 1 second, folks. Here we go. Okay, looks like everything is good to go. Hope you're all having a good day and surviving the terrible market volatility. It's getting really old, really quick. But yesterday, folks, I was kind of getting a little bit wild and used that market volatility to my advantage. As we all know by now, Trump and Elon have been battling it out like gladiators. And this, of course, has been really kind of messing with the markets in general. Tesla got absolutely slaughtered yesterday. And what was interesting about this was I went ahead and I bought the dip. I bought some options contracts yesterday before the close, and I thought, okay, everybody's going to sleep on this and come back. They did, and I think I secured about 35% gains or something like that overnight. So I was quite happy with the return. So yeah, it was 32% gains overnight. And really, at the end of the day, I know that Elon Musk is like the king of burning shorts. And what do I mean by that? He hates short sellers. Things just seemed a little bit too coordinated for me between Trump and Elon. Like maybe they could just be, over exaggerating things. And interestingly enough, the markets were just absolutely crushed yesterday, but Tesla basically took a very nice rebound and now is back up to 300. So when I bought that call, it was at 285 or something like that. But yeah, it is what it is. I rolled a new long position into a company called Rigetti Computing. There's a small falling wedge here that I'm hoping rips up to about this $12.64 dollar-ish level. But let's get on to the cryptoverse. And this is kind of my next play here is Rigetti. And yeah, I've got a call option contract for I think like August 15th or something like that secured. So I thought this was very interesting. And for those of you guys that have been hanging around this channel for any amount of time, you know that I've been covering Nervos Network since about 2021. Actually, February of 2021 to be exact. And really, it's this great chain. And what was interesting to me was Vitalik Buterin wrote this great article back in April, and I completely missed this. But basically what's happening is Ethereum has become expensive. It's become slow and clunky, especially when people start using it. And really Vitalik is trying to think of ways to basically abandon the Ethereum virtual machine in favor of RISC-V, RISC-V. And really this is a lot more efficient at processing transactions and things like that. But what was very interesting was in this article that Vitalik wrote, he recognized that Nervos Network, CKB, has had a very successful time with RISC-V. So I think that RISC-V, Nervos Network, is on Vitalik's mind. And we'll open up the phone lines here in just a second. But it's very cool. And this isn't the first time that he's mentioned CKB or Nervos Network. There's been quite a few times over the last few years where he mentions the work that Nervos Network has been doing. So big tip of the hat to Nervos Network, CKB. Really, when it comes down to it, Definity dropped an absolute stunner. I think this is great. Today, there are about 35,000 Web3 engineers in the world. Really, in the grand scheme of things, that's not very many, and they're completely right. But there are about 15 million full stack engineers, but tomorrow with the self-writing internet, everyone will be a builder. Today there are about 5 billion people in the world. So caffeine AI, guys, like, it's here. We saw Dominic Williams demo it at the conference. It was like crazy. It was everything that I wanted, and I've used these self-writing applications before in Web 2 many times. So with that said, I think that caffeine AI is going to be a game changer, bar none. We already know that. Taco DAO, who has been a sponsor of the channel here, proposed that they transfer 5,000 Taco for distribution in the Taco headquarters. We're tipping tokens to members that assist with due diligence in the Taco headquarters. So basically, you can go to their open chat community, which I will pin in the comments section, or you can find this tweet. But you must have a Neuron with 77 tokens. And the thing that's really cool about Taco DAO, folks, is that there's 7.7 million tokens in circulation. So to like let this sink in for a second, if this thing goes to $1, it's only going to require a $7.7 million market cap. Currently, this thing's at, we'll look at it here in just a second, but the price is sitting very good, a couple of cents. So this is one of those projects where, you know, I think that there's some potential to 20, 30, 40x. I'm not telling you guys to go out and buy a bag. I am invested into this project as well. But yeah, it is what it is. Caffeine is here, and we are seeing the self-writing internet just about to come alive. So I'm going to go ahead here and open up the phone lines. I know everybody wants to shill their tokens, and if you guys have a project that you want me to take a look at on the charts, just feel free to call. And yeah, it looks like, let's see here. Looks like the phone lines are open as of this minute. So if you want to talk to me live, you can do so simply by calling the number at the top, 346-839-0648. And we'll see what you have to say. Just be super cool if you decide to call. And now let's take a look at the markets here. Bitcoin, you know, obviously this thing was beat down badly with this whole Elon Musk Trump thing. And maybe we'll cover the Bitcoin dominance here first. And let's look at the 4-hour chart on this. You can see how Bitcoin is still very nicely obeying this rising wedge. And a couple days ago, I went on to say that, you know what, we're going to see Bitcoin dominance really start to fade or fizzle out. And there is literally a rising wedge in front, you know, containing a rising wedge, and within another rising wedge here. So I do think that, you know, Bitcoin, you know, dominance is weakening. And I do think that we're going to see this thing plummet a little bit. But I do think that, you know, when it comes to Bitcoin itself, still the last couple days, you know, have been rough for the entire market. We'll cover ICP, CKB here in a moment. But right now, there is a rising wedge on the Bitcoin price action. It is what it is. You might have heard it here first, but this is a multi-month rising wedge, and it's slightly a rising wedge. It's not like a 45-degree angle or anything like that. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Bitcoin come tumbling back down to the $89,000, $90,000, somewhere in there. We'll see what happens with it. We're looking at the daily chart, and like, it just is what it is. So I don't know that we're going to see Bitcoin go too much higher at this point in time. It's going to be interesting to see if some sort of harmonic pattern, you know, strips the price down to around maybe 90,000 or so to reconsolidate. Let's take a quick look at CKB, and this thing is in a very phenomenal falling wedge, which is extremely bullish. So this thing's almost in a year-long falling wedge, and so I think that there is some great potential here for price action to really shift to the upside. Let's take a quick look at ICP as well. And ICP, folks, has been squeezing, and I've been running some Fibonacci time sequence on ICP. And really, when it comes down to it, the next point in time I want you to look out for is Friday, June 20th, about midday here in the United States, Central Time. You know, from midday to like 4 o'clock. I do think that this thing is gearing for some sort of a breakout, and I do think that we are going to see ICP possibly start running again. And I'm hoping that they start releasing caffeine AI, and people are naturally going to start talking about it, making videos and things like that. But for now, you know, if we see ICP's price really take a hit, I'm expecting this to go down to about $4.75, and maybe kind of ricochet up to around the $5.45-ish area, at least until it breaks free of this symmetrical triangle squeeze. So when you hear of price squeezing, it's when the lows and the highs are consolidating inward towards each other. And basically what happens is the price takes off running in either direction. So let me know. We'll check out Taco versus ICP here. And let me know if you guys want me to check out any of your other projects, and we will go ahead and look at them. Let's just look at Taco. We'll look at Kong Swap. We'll look at EXE. But Taco DAO is sitting very nicely at about 24 cents. Now, guys, I've been telling you about Taco DAO, and like I mentioned, they are a sponsor of the program. But I met with these people. I actually did my due diligence, met with these people. I required them to dox themselves to me if they wanted to talk. So we ended up with a very nice falling wedge here that I pointed out. And now you can see that price is executing from that falling wedge. If you would have been paying attention, could have made a very nice 40% gain off this call I made right on X. So with that said, this is kind of consolidating and holding nicely. It's at 24 cents. I think that this thing has some potential to run a little bit with the, given the small supply of tokens. There's 7.7 million tokens. It is kind of what it is. But right now, we're seeing the high or the lows get higher, and we're kind of seeing somewhat of a quasi ascending triangle. I don't want to call it an ascending triangle quite yet, but you can kind of see how we could be filling out maybe something like this. And my hopes is that this thing takes off and starts running. We could be in the midst of seeing a very nice cup and handle as well. Just my observations, right? This isn't trading or financial advice, just my observations. Let's take a peek at Kong Swap, folks. I like Kong Swap. Why? Because I like the product that they have brought to the IC. It is just a premier product. Like, it's one of the best working dexes I think that anybody could ask for, really. So with that said, let's just take a peek at this on the 4-hour chart. And I see we've got about 19 people watching now. Kong Swap still appears to kind of be in this falling wedge style formation. So you can kind of see how price is squeezing downwards. This was a very nasty dip that the entire market experienced on May 30th. But yeah, with that said, I do think that we could be gearing up to see Kong swap pull some sort of a reversal here. I'm also very, very in tune with Elliott wave theory, and it almost appears to me that there could have been basically an A, B, you might be able to call this a CDE corrective wave that has come through. But we'll keep our eyes on this a little bit more. But for the most part, I am super bullish on Kong swap. Let's see here. Let's just look at one more. Let's just take a quick peek at EXE on ICP. I noticed this one had a big sell-off the other day, which was interesting to me, if I recall correctly. Maybe not. Maybe, oh, yeah, we had a little bit of a, I don't know that we call that a sell-off. I must have been mistaken and looking at some other chart. But yeah, EXE, folks, right now we're kind of seeing very similar pattern here to Kong. I mean, this thing, there's a very interesting trend line here with some falling wedge-esque properties or formations. It'd be interesting to see really what the deal is here. Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to throw up a little Gone fan on EXE, and maybe this will give us a better idea of where the price is going to be heading. Because you know what? At the end of the day, I'm a trader, and forward thinking the chart is really the easiest way to try to trade, in my opinion. Obviously, we can't control the news, none of that garbage, but we can control the decisions that we make. And of course, trading this DEX tools giving me some issues here. Bear with me 1 second. Change the background, get rid of it. There we go. Okay, so right now I just threw up this Gone fan on EXE, and you can see right now how price has obeyed quite nicely the laws of Gone. And you can see the support here. You can see basically this thing testing resistance and support right in here. Some more resistance tests right in there. So I do think that if this thing cuts even lower, we could see it go to 10 cents. But I do think that maybe we'll come up back to this 11-cent area. Ideally, I would love to see EXE kind of swing into this little area here, consolidate, and start ripping to the upside. So with that said, I do think that EXE does have some things going for it. It's obviously one of those bluer chip crypto projects that have stood the test of time. They've been in the eco for a long time, and these are the types of projects that, at the end of the day, that I would rather support than some new things that have higher risks of rugging and things like that. But yeah, it is what it is, folks, and I think I'm going to leave it right there. We've got no callers, absolutely zero today, so we'll just leave it at that. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day wherever you're at in the world. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace out. But yeah, it is what it is, folks. And I think I'm going to leave it right there. We've got